It's a delightfully windy day today. Look at how gentle everything is, moving together, sparkling in light, faint touches, gentle driftings of the tree trunks. Just another day of life. It's interesting how Ramana Maharishi's encounter with his enlightenment is not quite as flashy as some of the others. There's no gold flecks in the air, there's no halos of love, there is no similarity between light and love, but there is a deep discipline involved. There is a deep commitment to knowing and to searching out the root of who he was and what he was. One day, writes Ramana Maharshi, I was alone on the first floor of my uncle's house. I was in my usual state of health, but a sudden and unmistakable fear of death seized me. I felt like I was going to die. Why should I have felt so? I cannot now explain it by anything else in my body. I did not, however, trouble myself to discover if the fear was well grounded. I did not care to consult doctors or elders or even friends. I felt I had to solve the problem then and there myself. The actual inquiry and discovery of who am I was over on the first day. After a short time, instinctively I held my breath and began to dive inward with my inquiry into my own nature. I stretched myself like a corpse, and it seemed to me that my body had actually become rigid. I was not dead. I was, on the other hand, conscious of being alive, in existence. So the question arose in me, what was this I? I felt that it was a force or current working despite the rigidity or activity of the body, though existing in connection with it. It was that current or force or center that constituted my personality, that kept me acting and moving, etc. The fear of death dropped away. I was absorbed in the contemplation of that current. So further development or activity was issuing from new life and not from fear. That changed my mental attitude and my habits. I had formerly some preferences and aversions. All of these dropped off. This lasted for a long time, for the rest of Ramana Maharshi's life. That notion or that knowing, that realization that his self and the body were in relationship, but one was not identified with the other, as it were. His self was separate. That current of life that moved, inspired, activated him in the world was separate and apart from a body. And in finding that, he released himself from fear. He was unafraid at that point, and life took on a new richness for him. It wasn't about likes and dislikes anymore. There was a much higher ideal, a much more beautiful focus and movement for life as he moved from there into being an inspiring spiritual teacher. It's the value of practice, giving us that discipline, giving us that yearning, giving us the tools, to giving us an idea of what it is that we're trying to unfold. Your practice will manifest that realization. You will become your highest ideal.